Coming to CA articleship, the choice of the firm, the specialization that you opt for, and whether you will opt for industrial training after 2 years are significant career decisions that you need to take. Now, the obvious choice for going for articleship, any aspirant will be the Char Dham, Deloitte, KPMG, EY and PwC coupled with now Grant Thornton, which also is now in that reckoning. Now, Big Four, the biggest challenge is, will Big Four take me? I am willing to work in Big Four, as are thousands of other aspirants. So Big Four generally prefers rank holders or people who are technically very good. The challenge with the second category is that you might be technically good, you might be sincere, but they will not interview because you've just dropped their resume at their reception, as have thousands of others, and they really are practically constrained to actually evaluate them. So the idea should be to route your CV through some internal employee. The more senior that person is, the better, so that the HR, the hiring managers have a reason to believe that, okay, if Shivam has recommended this person, let's interview this student. Maybe he is worth his or her grain of salt. Big Four, you get good stipend, very attractive firms. So at the end of 3 years, you have a Tata Steel and an ITC and a Vodafone kind of a firms on your CVs, which you've handled as part of the limited reviews, the statutory year-ending audits, India's implementation, etc. So glamour is there. And you get good, one advantage of Big Four is that in spite of the hectic work-life balance, so every day you might end up working up to 2 in the night when there is a closing, and that extends for extended periods of 30-40 days. But then you get a good 4 months, 5 months at the end of the articleship period before your CA final, so you can end up even getting a rank, as have so many students. So you actually get to work on real life assignments of a scale, like you've done India's implementation, you've drafted a lot of Caro reports, you've realized how to manage time, because everything needs to be done in that limited time. You work with qualified professionals, you are part of an extended network of articles, so those advantages are there. But then if you are that kind of a student who is not able to cope up with both, I would recommend not going for Big Four, because even if you are the best semi-qualified article in your firm, the qualified chartered accountant will have more importance. Just like that classic analogy of a doctor versus a compounder that I often give, it's important that you clear CA final. That is very important. So that strategy has to be the first priority. How do I clear CA final in the midst of all this articleship? So because a lot of people who would have worked in a next level of firms, a Lodha, Singhi, SNB or Aneja and Associates, TR Chadda of the world, they also eventually post qualification they get into Big Four and they do really well. So these mid-sized firms have an advantage that the work there is far more unstructured. At a very initial stage, you get to handle a far more bandwidth in terms of the complexity of the assignments that you have, because you don't have that battery of that entire hierarchy, managers and senior consultants who keep chasing you for work, who keep telling you, oh, do this, do that. Here it's far more unstructured. You will be said, okay, go out to this client, 10 days you have, complete the audit and come up with 15 very good points. So that kind of an exposure is phenomenal. Now coming to the third segment, it's that proprietorship firm. Now proprietorship firm give you an advantage that you get a wholesome experience. So you will be filing ITR returns and doing MCA compliance, maybe attending income tax appellate tribunal hearings, as also doing some GST advisory work, because those firms really don't have segmented verticals. So this gives one a reason to believe that these firms might be good. But then before you join such firms, do some proper KYC that partner who is taking you, what is his perspective towards articleship? So does he view articles just as a low cost source of labor? So you might end up doing just stock audit for the next 2 years or bank concurrent audit. In fact, some people have sent their articles even doing DP audit, because they really don't care what is the learning which the article gets. They are just concerned with the money that they are making. So those kind of firms are a strict avoid. If you get it, it's your bad luck. Within next 1 year, you should just move out of such firms. Plus, if you are not getting a very branded firm, maybe at the initial stage, it would be good idea to do a background check. Don't ask people on their face, but ask from the seniors what is the kind of work that they have. if it's even one client where they do the end-to-end accounting and compliance, one group of companies with 500, 600 crores of turnover, it's good enough. Because you get to apply all the concepts that you will be learning in your CA final. And then post-qualification, you can always start. A good idea will also be to be upfront about your plans of doing industrial training. So you say that I will be able to join only if after 2 years you give me the option to move to industrial training. Because I'm a big fan of industrial training. I had myself done my industrial training from ITC. Today, a lot of companies want industrial training because they realize that after 2 years of articleship, having studied almost all the content of CA final, these people become very good resources. Plus, they want to watch you, observe you for 1 year. Once you clear CA, they will absorb you as their qualified professional. So, in terms of industrial training, that can be a very good opportunity that you can look forward to after 2 years. Okay. In terms of specialization, a lot of people tell me that, sir, if I just get into a transfer pricing or a direct tax, is it jeopardizing my entire objective? So I ask them that, who do you give greater credence to, a cardiologist or a general physician? And the answer invariably will be a cardiologist. We are looking at an age where specialization and further super specialization is going to be the order of the day. So a jack of all, master of none has its own space under the sun. But that does not mean that people who are specializing in a particular field are in any way jeopardizing their career. As long as you become an expert in that particular field and there are people willing to pay for such services, what is the harm? So there are people today who are specializing in articleship only in insolvency and bankruptcy code, doing insolvency regional professional work. Fantastic, right? Or you can attend even in a mid-size or small-size firm, be a specialist in direct tax litigation, because that is going to continue for the next 50 years. So why shirk away from specialization? As long as you know that you have an interest in that subject has got demand in the market and you can spend the entire lifetime. Yes, shifting options later will become a challenge, but so be it. Why do you really want everything? सब हाथ में लड्डू तो आपको ऐसे भी नहीं मिल सकते, right? सातों सुख तो किसी को भी नहीं मिल सकते. If I were to use that classic Hindi phrase. So go for specialization if you get an opportunity. And rock it. First priority studies, after 2 years, industrial training, if given a choice, and then big 4, big 5, if not there, mid-size firms, and if not there, small-size firm with thorough KYC of what exactly is the intention of that article, what has been articleship firm, and what has been the earlier feedback of people. Have they been frustrated and they left? Because there can be very idiots who might be not willing to sign your CA final forms and say that you are absent for that entire year, and they have the ability to screw up your career. You can fight it out, but then that takes a toll on your energy when you have to focus on CA final. So please avoid that kind of, I mean, those are a very small segment, but yes, you have to do your KYC before that, right? So that you don't end up just doing Xerox and submitting bank checks in the counters and all. There are people who exploit articles. I mean, let's be as candid about that. They feel that they are bonded laborers. That segment you have to just avoid. Other than that, articleship is a wonderful exposure. It helps you learn a lot of concepts which might appear to be very boring in just an academic framework. So it helps you actually in your CA final preparation. Okay, if you got any comments, please put it. I shall be glad to give my views. If you find this video useful, please share it with your near and dear ones and help them take better career choices. If not subscribed to this channel, which can be surprising if you haven't done it yet, please do that. Also press the bell button icon for notifications. And if you want a detailed career counseling from me, I am actually doing it through a paid app that's called Call Me For. So students from across the country, Haryana, Punjab, Rajasthan, UP, Bihar, South India, calling me up, having a 10-minute, 12-minute session. I can't really share my phone number because then otherwise I become that helpline where people call me up at midnight and say, okay, tell me about something. We kind of take you for granted. That's the mantra. So that's why I've rested it to the Call Me For app. Please use that if you really are in need of personalized service. Thank you. Bye-bye. All the best.